What's up, my freaking people? Welcome to the Mean Green Show. Today,
What up?
who do we have, Jay? You gotta say your name.
I gotta say my name?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Jared.
And this lovely lady in the middle, what's her name?
I say my name?
I think Jared or I should.
Oh, okay.
What you say?
Elizabeth Flatley.
There you go. And I call her, I give everybody nicknames. Liz. Liz, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Are you nervous?
Oh, yeah.
She shouldn't be. She shouldn't be. I think this episode is going to be, I think all of them are very authentic, but this one's going to be really cool because the last episode, and shout out to Wendy. Wendy was
Love Wendy.
Amazing.
Yes.
See how it segued it to you? That was not planned.
She did segue perfectly.
But the cool thing about you, Liz, how long have I known you?
A year?
A year? Right? So a lot of times, like Wendy, I've known her for years. You know, Dame, I knew for years. So it's going to be cool to see your insight, your experience, your thoughts, whether they're good or bad, about the brand or me or Jared or whoever. We get to dive into that, and I'm really, really excited that you're able to do that with us.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks for having me, yeah.
Jared, how do we start this?
How do we start? How do we start the last
It was raw. We just went into
one? I know,
it.
we just dove in.
Well, we can say the name of the series is called Tell Me the Good.
Yeah.
And the reason why we want to know the good is because each individual for the first 6 weeks is not coming from Jared and I perspective. It's coming from you guys. So what we want to do is kind of see where you're from, and you kind of tell us what you do, and then we'll have a mindset that we're about to talk about fitness, but it never goes that way.
Okay.
It always goes the other direction. And then we always give you guys the floor towards the end to ask either one of us questions.
Okay, shoot.
Cool. All right. You got the first one, or you want me to take it?
That's her.
No, we got to ask her questions.
Oh.
Like where she's from.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
I
I'm
didn't
about to
prepare
say
much,
that's
okay,
kind of so yeah, it's kind of just that. So where did your fitness journey kind of get started? Last year?
Well, it was 1989. No, I mean, so my family's big on sports. So I played like youth sports, but I was the try-hard.
Okay.
So I always done stuff, but yeah, I
What's your
committed to
sports?
things. I tried everything.
Yeah.
So I'm from a small town in New England.
Okay.
You know Julie that comes here?
Yeah.
We from the towns
I
next to
remember
each
you telling me
other.
about that.
Oh, wow.
Which is wild. I thought she was from California. I was like, another white lady at the gym? But I heard her say Cali, and I was like, oh, she's not from.
Right.
And then she said something very Massachusetts, and I was like, where are you
You
from?
can pick up on an accent. Yeah.
And we actually, so we both played field hockey in high school.
Yeah.
Like, would have played each other, maybe.
Dang.
So when you say field hockey,
Which is, like, not from here.
yeah, so is that
So-
mean it's not on ice?
Is it-
Yeah,
is
so
it-
there's different kinds of hockey.
Okay.
Field hockey's bigger, like, Europe
Okay.
and stuff.
Okay.
But it's, like, played on grass or turf
Okay.
with these sticks, and you can only use one side.
That's the one with,
There's
like,
all these different rules.
doesn't it have like a little hook at the end.
And the women wear skirts, so I had to
Well,
wear a
I
kilt.
like that one.
And then men played in Europe. Yeah, but then was jacked up, right? In high school,
Uh-huh.
I'm from Massachusetts.
Okay.
Like, playoffs are in November. So it might snow sometimes,
And
and
you
you're
still
wearing
gotta
these
wear the skirt.
skirts, and I'm, like, leggy. So my mom kept trying to buy new skirts to get them to be longer.
Yeah.
And, like, they just got wider but not longer. So you just had to find boxers.
Liz, you would have
to
need
get
one of those old Methodist dresses.
Yeah,
to the ankles.
like an Amish lady or something, but you'd have mad. But yeah, I digress. But yeah, I played a lot of sports growing up.
Okay.
And like my parents were really good at letting us try stuff. When I went to high school, I did karate.
Okay.
So that kind of got me into like boxing and kickboxing a bit.
okay.
Like
That makes
not to
sense.
per se fight, but it helped me a lot with confidence.
Absolutely.
Is why I started it. And then for training in high school, I started running just because it was part of our tryouts.
Okay.
That the coach said, like, for field hockey, you got to run a time 2 mile was the first piece of tryouts. So when I was a sophomore, I was like, well, I want to do well. So that summer I just worked, and then every day, it was like pre-GPS, but I measured in my mom's van how far a mile was from my house, and I
Nice.
would just run there and back, or at least halfway there and back every day in the summer
I
with
love
my
it.
little Walkman. So the first day of tryouts, I ran like a 14:52 mile, and there was all these like seniors and stuff that were just like struggling.
Yeah.
So I made an impression. But then I didn't even try out for varsity because I was too nervous.
Really?
And I should have, because I probably would have
You'd've
made
made
it
it.
with that. But yeah, so I just played a lot of sports. Started loving running in high school, but I never ran cross country
Okay.
because I would train for other stuff.
Yeah.
And then in college, I was not per se a college, like I maybe could have played D3 somewhere, but I was more an academic. But I played club field hockey my first year to stay busy.
Yeah.
Then I tried like club running, and then I rode for a year in college.
Nice. And where did you go to college at?
UConn, University of Connecticut.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Shout out to the Huskies, right?
Yeah,
Huskies.
go Huskies. I forget. We don't do hand gestures.
Yeah, don't.
No, it's
Oh.
like UConn.
Yeah. Y'all don't have a Husky.
No, we don't. We don't do. This is like Texas. That's what I
Oh.
learned. The North and the South are different
Okay.
in a lot of
We do
ways.
gang signs down south.
We
huh?
just like go Huskies.
go
How
Huskies.
did you say that?
UConn.
Like, I was in Nebraska. I don't know. I know it's the Midwest, but I don't think they do hand
No.
signs either. Or Wisconsin, maybe.
Really?
I don't.
Nah,
You're
they
right.
don't.
You're
Yeah,
right. I
we
don't
don't
see it up there.
I
you
never
have
noticed that.
cheers, but we don't.
I never noticed that.
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna work on. No, I'm gonna still do it.
Yeah.
This does look like a dog.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what. So I'm a Husky at Houston
Horns.
Baptist.
Oh.
Well, now we're Houston
HCU.
Christian. Yeah.
Yeah,
Houston,
that's right.
Frogs.
Yeah.
Houston Christian. It's weird, but Houston Baptist. We were Huskies.
Cool.
But so
better Husky.
what brought you to Texas? What brought you to Houston?
So I'm a pharmacist
Okay.
by training, and I did. You don't have to, but you can do more training after school. So I
Okay.
did a residency at the VA in Connecticut, and then I did a second year here
Yeah.
in Houston.
What was your first impression of Houston?
So I love the city.
Mhm.
When I interviewed, I was like, "This is cool. This is diverse.
Mhm.
You got sports, music, culture,
Yeah.
different people. It's big." But then when I got into it, I was like, "Ooh, the
Mm-hmm.
North and the South are different." Like everyone is, people think we're rude,
Mhm.
but we're not. We're
Yeah.
really friendly.
Yeah.
But like people touch a lot more here,
Yeah.
and
we're
like take more
huggers.
time. Like the small talk was new.
Yeah.
So everyone thought I was wicked rude because
Really?
I was like, I don't know you like that. Like, why are you trying to touch me?
Really?
And like, list me on time.
So what was that like coming to Mean Green for the first time?
But by the time I came here, I've been
You
here a
were
while.
good. Okay.
Yeah. So now I love it.
Okay.
I'm adapting.
And how long you been in H-Town?
7-8 years. Like it's
7,
like my home now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's home. Awesome.
Mhm.
So let's talk about Mean Green.
Okay.
How did you find out about us? What was I think it was an invite. How was that?
So I started, I think, last December with
Okay.
there was like a promo
Mhm.
for the month of December, and Margaret Kazibwe
Margaret.
is one of my closest friends.
Can you
I
say-
love
can you-
her.
Can you say that last name again?
Kazibwe?
Kazibwe.
Kasi-
Kazibwe.
Kazibwe?
Kasibwe.
Kazibwe. There's a Z.
Z-way. Kazibwe.
But
I'm gonna get
I
this right,
mean,
Margaret. Kazibwe.
I don't know Ugandan, so in theory, I may say it wrong, but I think it's Kazibwe.
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 Okay.
Mhm.
Hey, you closer to me.
I had to
I,
get that
I
right.
like to try to pronounce
never
people's
heard that
names
said.
right. You know what I
Kazibwe.
mean?
Kazibwe.
Yeah.
Come here.
But
Come here. I'm gonna do it. This is it. Chris is gonna say the word right. Now I want that close up. There. 3. Here we go. 2. Margaret Kazibwe. Comment down below, Margaret. I want to know if I said it right. Shout out to the Margaret. And she's been on the show with me. All right. So Margaret.
so so I've known her since probably the second year I lived in Houston.
Okay.
She's
Awesome
been coming
person.
here years.
Yeah.
And I've always heard her talk about it.
Mhm.
And like even when we lived in the same apartment complex, I'd be running and I'd see her coming in the morning and
Yeah.
stuff. But then I was just doing other stuff,
Yeah.
and running's my first love, so that was kind of what I've been training for.
Mhm.
But then the pandemic hit, and I work in healthcare, so I was kind of just working out from home.
Yeah.
And once it was kind of getting better, I was like, I really miss like working out with people.
Mm.
I had done like title boxing for a while with some friends
Mhm.
and loved it, but it all kind of changed.
Mhm.
And I was going to the Y for a bit, and then did their home classes. But I was like, I could really use more community and more gym.
Yeah.
And then she had just loved it for a long time. So
Absolutely.
she shared like a couple promos, and I was like, you know what? Like, I know this is your space, but like, you mind if I try it?
Absolutely.
And I realized too, it's very much, it was cool where it's like, it's not my space, it's like our,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But she's an includer too, so.
Who was your
Really cool.
first trainer?
So I think I came on a Monday,
Okay.
and I feel like you and Jason were both there.
Okay.
I think it was a class. I remember we had to go outside and run because I was like,
Mhm.
I was like, I'm fit, but like, this is hard because it was like the barbell I've never touched.
Yeah,
Like, I
remember
think
that.
when I rode, I was saying I was like skinny. So we went to the weight room for the football players,
Mhm.
but I don't remember ever touching a barbell.
Yeah.
So whenever we had to like learn stuff, I got frustrated.
Yeah.
And I know Abby and Margaret
Mhm.
from before, and I remember they felt bad. They were like, "Oh, I saw your face," because Jason was trying to help me, and it was just like new.
I remember.
So yeah, that was my first class,
I
and I was like,
remember.
"I'm gonna give it a minute," but
I remember training, and Jason wasn't on clock, but Jason always
I
helped.
think you just
when
happened to
he
be
said
here, yeah.
And I remember
'Cause it was
that.
busy.
It was really
Yeah.
busy. And the cool thing I think about this whole episode, we're gonna dive into, because you and I have sat down and talked about it after
Yeah.
class, but on your normal, I guess, comfortable style of working out, which was running. And
Yeah.
now trying to figure out, can I actually lift? And seeing what lifting has done for you
Yeah.
is what I'm curious to see. So, all right, so came to Mean Green. Shout out to Margaret. You jumped into a class. It's chaotic. What were maybe, besides Abby and Margaret, can you think of someone that gave you an impression, whether it was good or bad, that wasn't a coach, where you were like,
Trying to think of specifics, because honestly everyone's been like real cool.
yeah,
That's what's been dope. Like I met a lot of people that I wouldn't have, that like now I can consider like friends, or
Yeah.
at least like we're real cool, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I see them wherever, like you can come to my house, we can I'm trying to think of like who first impressions were, but I think I was kind of tunnel vision on trying
Yeah.
to figure out what I was doing
Yeah.
that first day, so I don't even remember to be quite honest.
Yeah.
But there's just been a lot of people from the jump.
Yeah.
I mean, David's a coach, but I remember like he was trying to get to know me. I went to boxing with Juice by that Wednesday.
We have to talk about Juice next. Keep going.
Yeah, like Faye that comes, Faye, like there's multiple Fays, right?
Yeah.
But like they were all real cool, real quick. I think T was there. Like I don't want to miss anyone.
Yeah.
'Cause everyone's been real cool. Like you know what I mean?
That's awesome.
It's everyone.
Well,
Osha and Gabe. Yeah.
I do want to talk about Juice.
Okay.
And then you take the floor because I know I'm hogging it.
Oh, you're fine.
She's awesome. I just like talking
Absolutely.
to her. Juice.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't get a lot of public attention on podcasts and maybe on IG, but that guy is freaking amazing. Can you talk a little bit about why you still work out with him, sometimes back-to-back classes? What is Juice like?
Oh, he's got that like heart of gold. Like that's what I think I love a lot of people, like just through and through they're good people here. You know what I mean? And I feel like I can learn a lot from everyone. But no, I had a good time. Like, man, he's just a good guy and he knows how to box.
Yeah.
He's kind of like unassuming.
Yeah.
Like you won't know. And I was like, his name is Juice. I remember like I looked at it because I had signed up, right? And it was my first month. And it was like Adrian Young, and I like wasn't sure if maybe he was gonna be like a Hispanic guy or something. And Margaret's like, "Oh, go over there, like back there is where Juice is." And I was like, "What you
Who's
talking about?
Juice?
Like,
Yeah.
where do I box? And like, who am I looking for? You know what I mean?"
Yeah.
And I had, like I said, I did karate in high school and did like a black belt, and then I did some like kickboxing at like a title in boxing, so I had a little background, but like I don't actually know how to like box, training, fight, and stuff. And so he really mixes it up, which is fun too. Like when I was going, there were some regulars, and then new people always come in, and he just kind of pull audibles. But we'll do kind of like box hit. But then over time, working with him, like he's so cool. He'll learn like kind of what I appreciate, or even where I'm coming in for the day,
And design it for you.
and like has been teaching me kind of some like boxing fundamentals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, I want to know some defense, or we do like a 10 series.
Yeah.
He just knows what's up. Or I'm like, hey, I didn't get to work out today. So like,
Let's get after it.
yeah. And sometimes I'm like, you a little sadistic because this is probably all you guys trainers, like,
Nah, he's different.
like
He
I'm dying, like hitting something and you just like giggling, you know what I mean?
He'd be like, yeah, man, yeah, man. You know,
Just like,
what-
I'm like, this is brutal. Like, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
Like, I get an attitude.
the cool thing he
but-
does, I've seen him run a class with 4 different people and have almost 4 different workouts. Like,
Yeah,
so I think
I've
that's
seen,
pretty cool.
and basically, like he adjusts based on kind of who comes. You know what I mean? Because if it's like smaller and some of us have been coming,
Yeah.
we'll do one thing. Or
Yeah.
if we just worked out, and then sometimes it's brand new people who never hit anything.
Yeah.
And like new in fitness journey. I mean, I brought some people I know from church, like a mother-daughter, who were just like, I want to work out, and they're like, oh, we'll come next summer, but they hadn't done it before,
Yeah.
so we kind of adjusted, and it was
Right,
fun.
That's dope.
It's
That's
real
awesome.
welcoming. It's cool, and then we can chop it up and talk about whatever.
Shout
It's
out
cool.
to Juice.
Yeah,
Shout out to you, man.
Shout out, bro.
everyone should try it. I've been
Man.
recruiting,
Man, that's my guy.
and he can cook too, right?
He's a man of many missions. You know, he's
We had that boil that one time.
the crawfish boil to contractor to a lot.
Oh yeah,
I've been-
some
we went
housing
to high school
questions
together.
too.
Yeah,
Okay,
we went to high
yeah.
school together. So
Y'all
I've been
play
knowing
basketball, right?
basketball together. I've been knowing Juice since I was 14. So I'm not gonna tell you my age, but I've been knowing over 2 decades. So, so that's my guy, man. But Jay,
That's funny.
your turn.
My turn. Liz, when you first started talking, you did hit something that bugged me. So I'm not bugged.
Uh-oh.
When I say bugged, I
Uh-oh.
mean I had to remember it. I had to mark it down. But you talked about kind of when you've always been into sports for the most part. I kind of want to talk about your mentality. Because you do have this go-getter mentality that I think a lot of people, whether you know it or not, they look at you and they're like, "Man, she has a motor on her."
Right.
Oh.
So
I'm cold.
Nice.
So do you think that that's something that you were kind of just born with? Or do you think that's something that your parents kind of instilled in you? Like, I just want to hit on that a little bit. Like, where do you think that comes from for you?
Yeah, I think there's some like nature and nurture.
Okay.
But for sure, coming up, I think having been part of teams and like having to train and stuff, for me, fitness is like, well, now my goal is just lifelong and moving with it. But having been on teams, you know, like you do these drills or like basketball, I remember suicide. There are certain things you just dread, right?
Yeah.
But it's like you're part of this team, you got to do your best to try it.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes I approach my workouts like that.
Okay.
And like I know that I've already pushed myself to a certain limit, so I know I can handle it. For sports, for me, it was always like, I don't want to let other people down. So I actually wasn't the best athlete because I would try hard and do it all, but like I didn't always have the game sense or the confidence to like be able to like come in clutch.
Yeah.
And but I think when I'm working out, I'm like, okay, this is the commitment. We all gonna do this, and like we know we can. So you just do your best with what you got.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah,
but
it does.
100%.
but yeah, I think having had to be part of a team, and sometimes it's like, I mean, it is optional, and I learned to like listen to my body, and you know what I mean. You get hurt or something, like
Yeah.
you got to pull back.
Yeah.
But to some extent, it's like I'm committed to the workout, so I'm gonna come and like give it what I got.
Yeah, I got you.
Yep. I had a thought, Jared,
Uh-oh.
and I have them quite frequently.
I mean, I'm glad.
I wanted to ask Liz to wear this tank she wore last week to class, or excuse me, to this podcast.
Oh.
Dog, she showed up. Her traps and shoulders was just out, and I was like, "Get it, Liz! Get it, Liz!" But that doesn't come from just running.
No.
Right? And I think what I would like to dive in is talk to the guy or the girl that may be trying to do something they're not familiar with, right?
Okay.
And I know you wasn't as familiar with the barbell or
Yeah.
whatever movements, right? Why did you not quit when it was uncomfortable that first week or two with the barbell?
Yeah, and I guess I've never lifted heavier weights. And to be honest, I've been like thinner. I've never been bigger, and I kind of thought, oh, my body type is like athletic. And I was almost afraid, especially as a woman
Yeah.
who like, you know, wants to be seen as a like,
You
I was
be
afraid of
bulky.
getting too big, or like people I know would be like, you shouldn't lift heavy because you're gonna get hurt. So I'm afraid of either getting too big and not, you know, being seen as like cute and beautiful.
Yeah.
Like you're too strong, you
Right.
know. That's when we're afraid of being too much.
Yeah.
Or I was afraid of getting hurt.
Yeah.
Because people are like, oh, like you shouldn't be lifting heavy weights. You're like this. And
Yeah.
then I'm more probably slow twitch
Yeah.
than fast twitch muscles. So when I was learning, what was tricky was trying to keep up. Because I have that like team sports thing, I'm trying to like
Keep up.
hit everything. So I had to kind of learn, or I'm still learning to adjust to like, I don't know how to do this movement. So if I can't hit 15 reps in a minute, like that's okay if I'm trying to learn how to do it.
Absolutely.
Or like if I'm going to add weight, I'm going to go slower.
Absolutely.
You know, or like, so I guess I think what I've learned is like if you learn to listen to your body,
That's it.
and at some level you got to trust people. So I
That's it.
think for me, I don't know, I start trusting. I have to kind of like, you know, I'm slow to warm up. Like I'm gonna like suss it out and see
People
what the
gotta earn it.
situation is.
Yeah.
And once I started to see like, hey, this isn't just another gym where they're just trying to like throw weights around, as I got to try it out, and I was like, you know, like y'all are like athletes, you've done it, you're doing the workouts that you're teaching people. And I'm seeing people like, I remember even Alex, like everyone was just like teaching me the right form. So I felt more comfortable, like I can do this or try it.
Yeah.
And then I think looking around and seeing a bunch of women like about my size, bigger, smaller, different fitness spots, but like they're all doing it too.
Absolutely.
And they've been here for years. So it started to help me buy in and just learn, like, let me just listen and see what's up.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
No, that's
Yeah.
perfect. After lifting, you know, you said about a year, right? After lifting and adjusting to listening to your body, everything you just said, do you feel like you're bulking up to a way that you don't want to bulk up?
I think I've hit a new level of confidence, because I'll say there's certain like areas that I was always kind of insecure about, and I've become really proud of my body, how it is. I run when I started, I was trying to run and do everything, and I'm learning like, girl, you can't do everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm learning to like adjust goals with the season.
I like it.
But now I'm like, I'm really proud of where I'm at. I want to maintain or figure out how to keep this up. You know, lifespan, like people got kids, people got life things that happen.
Yeah.
You might get hurt.
That's fabulous.
You know, you gave me that chiropractor, like, shout out to Dr. Tony.
Tony,
helps
Dr.
me
Tony.
out. And his
What's up?
wife works where I used to work. It's
Yeah.
a small world.
Oh, you know his wife?
Yeah.
It seemed like you told me this. Hold on, you told me this story.
Yeah, she's a pharmacist too.
That's it.
Pharmacy is a small world.
That's it. I remember.
But yeah, so I think I'm just learning how to, like, I'm getting more compliments, but it's not in a weird way. You know what I mean? Like, and I think what's cool too, people are like genuinely proud for you here.
Absolutely.
Like, there's competition, which is cool, and that pushes you as like the athlete.
It's healthy.
But it's like a cool level of
Like,
competition.
I see you, girl.
Yeah, it's
I'm
more
coming,
like
girl.
you did great. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let's win together kind
Yeah.
of thing.
That's it.
But yeah, so I'm proud of where I'm at.
Absolutely.
I mean,
You should
maybe
be.
I'll get a little bigger, but like I'm like I just want to maintain health. You know what I mean? Some
I love
years
it.
I might run a little more. Some years I might lift a little more.
That's
you know,
fitness.
let me hit mobility. Like learning the domains of it.
That's fitness.
Yeah.
So Jared,
That's so dope.
hearing that, you know what I
So
mean?
dope.
Hearing that portion, right? From, oh, I can lift, but I'm not gonna look like a man, or I'm lifting now, and I found something that gave me a different confidence. As a coach, what does that mean to you?
Man, that means everything. Like I couldn't stop smiling when you were
Yeah.
saying it, because it's like I think it spoke to me as somebody that is a coach, right? Because you said when you came in, you had this idea of I don't want to be big, right? Like I don't want to look too masculine, and then you got here and you started working, and you did what I guess some people would consider bulking up, right? You got a little bit of muscle mass,
Mhm.
but to you were like, wait, this feels good.
I'm actually
Like,
sexy.
Yeah, this looks good. Like your perspective on it changed. So like to me as a coach, like that inspires me, because at the end of the day, like we obviously want you guys to work. We want you to work hard. When you come into the gym, you have your goals, and we're gonna get you to reach those goals. There are gonna be some things that you might not even realize like you wanted.
Yeah.
Right?
No, that's for sure.
That boosts your confidence. That gives you that sense of accomplishment or
Yeah.
whatever it is. So like that's huge.
I love it.
Yeah.
To my ladies, listen to me, ladies. You don't bulk up like a man overnight, and you don't bulk up like a man by just lifting weights. You don't bulk up like a man. It's okay. I'm trying to say this without stepping on toes. I don't know who watches this, but if you ever see a woman where you're like, wow, she looks like she's bigger than Jared, she's probably been training like that for years to get that way. Number two, she probably eats a certain way to look like that. Number three, sometimes it's more than supplements that they're taking to look that way. All right, hopefully they
Sometimes.
caught that, right?
Sometimes.
So I just wanted to encourage you, man. Ladies, lifting is sexy. Lifting is empowering. Lifting gives you insight and perspective, showing you something that you don't know that's inside of you now lives outside of you. So if anybody's struggling with maybe moving forward of picking up dumbbells or kettlebells or a barbell, do it the right way, go at your speed and pace, and you'll develop something that you didn't even know was inside of you. So shout out to Liz for even bringing that to the table.
Absolutely.
Second thing you said, form.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like you was in spot 10 or 11 in that corner somewhere.
I think I was right. 7.
Seven.
Seven.
I remember it was on the right side of me, and I don't remember it seemed like it was like a power clean. It was a movement, and I remember telling you something to the extent like, hey, we're going to do what we can. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't get caught into the people on the left and the right. How do you feel when a coach, if you've ever noticed this, I'm curious, how do you feel when a coach slows you down to do a movement versus just saying, go, 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 but slow you down to do it right?
So for me, especially depending on what I'm doing, most of the time I really appreciate it. Actually, especially when I know people and I know that you give me the right advice, which I learn after I trust, I prefer it.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, especially when I was new, I was like, I just want to make sure I get a workout in.
Yeah.
So then, like, that was the second half. So I think that's what's cool here is you have the split stuff too.
Yeah.
So there's certain things that you got to do just right and certain things. But I think too, like with wisdom and age, I realize I'd rather do it right. And like it's gonna take some time. I think is the reality. Like
Won't
you
you
have to
do it?
hit
Won't
some
you do it?
patience. Oh, you didn't.
No, that was I was just no.
It's like praise hands. I don't know.
But right now, no, you know, it's as a coach, I'm curious what Jared was saying.
And I know, but there's this one time I remember, poor David Martinez.
What did
Like, well, he was helping me. Like, everyone's always got the best interest is what I've learned. But it was one of those like Saturday sweats where it was just like continuous, and I felt like I was like tracking for the top, right? And he told me like, girl, you're doing a chin up and not a pull up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I had to like
up on
change
you.
it, and then like doing that's like my hardest, one of my hardest movements. So I just fell behind.
Yeah.
So I think my face in the moment, like I make faces when I'm locked in.
Yeah.
And so I like had to apologize. So there's been a few times, you know what I mean? Like I look pissed.
I can't even imagine her mad.
But like really, I actually appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like, because I'd rather do it right.
Absolutely.
And you have to, like, if you actually want to
Yeah.
do it.
Because you were doing a chin up versus just a
Yeah.
So think about that, guys.
And then I looked it up. It's different muscles.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So if you're doing the chin up, right, it's more a bicep. You still hit the lat a little bit, but it's really concentrated a lot on the biceps, right? But when you're here, you're really working those lats. You find
Yeah, which I don't have.
Right, you got them. You got them. So you know, I guess when you're in the middle of, I don't know, competition or middle of let's say you're in the middle of the storm. Sometimes when somebody's trying to slow you down, sometimes it's like, ugh. And I wanted to point that out, and I definitely want your perspective, Jay. As a coach, sometimes that's like my hesitation in the middle of a workout. When I see a Erica just getting after, and you like, dang, I'm about to really slow Erica down. She's not going to like it, but I have to fix form. So it's cool to hear you say that, like, even in the middle of the storm, you're kind of like, oh, crap, but eventually you do understand the importance of that. Jared, hearing that, do you have challenges like me sometimes where you don't want to slow somebody down, or you just like, hell no, I'm stopping them?
I stop them.
Let Erica make a look.
maybe it's personal. Maybe it's personal because at the end of the day, I feel like in competition, like when we have gym workout competitions, at the end of the day, it's all big picture, right? We want to get better, personally.
Yeah.
So when we have competitions, like let's say we have a 4-time workout, you're trying to finish as fast as you can, and we're trying to do, 20 push-ups and whatever movement. If you're not doing the push-ups right, like, I get it.
Yeah.
You're competing, you're trying to finish as fast as you can, but how are you getting better other than, I'm about to beat this person?
Yeah.
Right? So for me, it's really in a competition with yourself. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but like anytime we do a 4-time workout, I don't think Chris or I have ever been one of the first ones done.
No, I'm never done first.
Yeah, I don't, and that's honestly not my goal going into a workout. I want to finish the fastest that I can doing every rep correctly.
Yeah.
So like pull-ups, I don't think I'll ever be the first one done for the Murph.
No.
That's honestly not my goal. My goal is to finish the Murph doing as perfect of reps as I can do all the way through as fast as I can.
Absolutely.
My goal isn't to be a 24-minute finisher of the Murph. My goal is to do 100 push-ups all the way to my chest, all the way up. My goal is to not kip on a pull-up, doing a pull-up all the way down, all the way up. That's my goal. So I feel like whenever we're in a competition, personal as a coach, I feel like people's goals should be able to do the reps the way they're meant to be done as fast as you can. I want to be the first one done in this class.
Yeah.
I want to go get in the car and say, ooh, I finished that AMRAP or I finished that 4-time in 16 minutes. Everybody else finished in 28. Okay,
like
but
that.
So as a coach, that's my mindset going into it. So whenever I see somebody, trying to go as fast as you can, do the
like
push-up
that,
right.
Yeah.
Right? So
I like that, Jay. You know what's cool about that? I like that in so many factors because we did a podcast, I think, beginning of 2022. It was called Look Good Naked.
Yeah.
Like, I work out to look good naked, to have the confidence and everything that goes with that. I don't necessarily – we've never done the leading board where we have a workout and then everybody has to track their stuff in the software and everybody's trying to beat, because at the end of the day, that doesn't necessarily make you look good, but it can definitely – it's risk versus reward. I can see more injuries because people are trying to reach the top of a leading board versus trying to look good aesthetically or beat a doctor's report or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I want everybody to buy in on this one. I'm going to ask them a question, and then I'm going to break it down. Down below, can you comment and say, do you work out for exercise or do you work out to train? Do you exercise or do you want to train? As we give them a couple of seconds, the reason why I say that is because they're two different things. All right? Jared, you train or you exercise? And this sucks because nobody knows what I'm getting to.
At all, but I'm going to say that I exercise.
That was the same word. What about you, Liz? I'm going to go with that.
You know what? I feel like what you're getting at, I'm gonna lean more towards train.
Okay.
But I feel like I do both.
Okay.
I mean, like exercise, like mental health, or like I'm built to move.
Yeah.
I know I do better when I do.
Absolutely.
But I guess especially as time goes, like I'm training for the long game.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? To run the race well.
And you're hitting it. You're hitting exactly
Yeah.
what I'm getting to, right? So this is just Chris philosophy. This is not by NASM or ACE or whatever. The difference between the two is exercise is movement, right? You can go exercise for 1 hour and you can do 10 minutes on the Stairmaster, take a 20-minute break, and do another 10 minutes on the Stairmaster. And today you exercise. Great job, Billy, right? Training is a little bit different. Training is execution to get to a specific goal. If you're an athlete training for, I don't want to say the Texans, the Rockets. If you're an athlete that's trying to, become a part of the Olympics, or if you're training to get a new body, or if you're training to turn around diabetes or high blood pressure, whatever it may be, there's a certain amount of execution you need to do to get there. So when you go to the gym, you know what you need to do, A, B, C, right? Whether you know it or somebody's leading you to get there, you're training for it. I think when you have a perspective of what you're trying to do, it gives you a better position to find success. So some of us are just exercising, right? But the challenge that I have is some people exercise, but they want training results, right? Think about that.
Sir.
You can't just exercise but want the same results as Liz. If Liz is doing a certain amount of conditioning, if she's doing a certain amount of strength training, if she's doing a certain amount of food intake, and you're monitoring it and recovery for your body, but the other person just goes to the gym and say, today I'm gonna get on my phone, text, and do some bicep curls with my opposite hand, but I want the same results as her. There's a difference between exercising and training. So our goal right now, as we evaluate Liz and what she's doing, girls, look into training. All right, and the reason why I'm about to ask Liz this next series of questions because it's gonna go right into it. So Liz, hearing what I just said, and everybody's now changing their answer. I train with me, right? We were talking one day after class, and you were asking me more so insight about programming. You having the experience that you've had with multiple gyms, collegiate, high school, everything that you mentioned, what does it look like when you walk into the gym with us? Is it a trust factor where it's like, hey, whatever they put on the table, or is it kind of like, oh, I'm evaluating that, I don't know if that's going to work, or I'm curious?
Probably a little. I mean, I think trust is building now that I've been here for a while and seen results. And I'd say this is why I'm probably in it for the long game here too, is because like the programming is what makes it different from me just like going to any old gym that has weights and figuring it out. Because for me too, like if I have 1 hour to work out, now I'm learning I want it to be efficient. You know what I mean? And like good. Like I know how to go for a run. I know how to do some push-ups.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I have a book or two, but I don't necessarily yet have the perspective of how to build the whole workout to hit like all the muscle groups, and like my mom's a PT. I know that you're supposed to work whenever I've had injuries, and like I watch your stuff, like, you have to hit the accessory muscles to be able to build it well. Cause if I just do bicep curls all day, I could have great biceps for you to look at, but like then break my shoulder, you know what I mean? So I think as I'm getting results, and even I remember I told you I'm having some shoulder pain, but I'm learning, like even a bunch of the trainers know. So it's like, I know how to adjust it.
Yeah.
I think I'm just like buying in more. Yeah. Like that's what I appreciate. So I'm here for the community and for like the programming, because I know if I come at least a couple times a week, I'm gonna get the full body results and my work in. Like that. And I think it's cool too because I'm starting to like learn. Yeah. So it's like, hey, if I miss a day or something, like I can try to keep up with this workout, or I have some options. I'm always thinking like, what if my life changes and I can't come every day, like so often, or what? But I'm like, for me, it's cool because I'm learning new stuff, which makes it fun and exciting. It like mixes it up.
That's awesome.
And then I'm also seeing results and like treating my body well. Yeah. Like if I got hurt by month 3, you probably might have seen me at some social events, but maybe not frequenting the gym so much. But I think that I'm learning, even doing the mobility in it, because I know like exercise is multiple domains, right? Absolutely. And that much more goes into it than just calorie burn. So
I love it.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
That's why we call this episode "Tell Me the Good." All right, Jared.
And sometimes I'll still look suspect, to be honest. Or I'm like, hey, I can't do 20 reps in 45 seconds. So like,
Hey.
best of luck to y'all. You know, blessings.
Hey, so
but
I'm in the same boat with you, and I help make the workout, right?
Right.
and I like when y'all blame each other. Like, oh, this man did it. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's all Jared.
Jared always does it whenever it's terrible, right?
Yeah, ask Chris.
So Jared, hearing that, right? We're doing the split training together as we program it. Hearing someone that is educated about movement, you know, she's categorizing the different domains and how secondary muscle groups support the primary muscle group that we're aiming for. Knowing that we're training these caliber women and men, what does that look like when you're deciding movement for the team?
I feel like we have to be on our game.
100%.
I love that we do have people that are knowledgeable on the topic, because we have to be on our game. So I wish I could see the board. I wish I could see the board with the different muscle groups that we write down.
I mean,
because there's
Liz might like it.
I know.
I mean, I'm kind of a nerd, so I would like, you know, I
Exactly.
have one of those books, like Gold 2023, crack it a bit.
Yeah.
But I think what's cool too is it's accessible,
like that.
right? So it's like a high level. One of the things I love about the gym too is that you're legit seeing like ex-college athletes, you know what I mean? Maybe pro, like you know, Dave Martinez did that workout in like
That was
20 minutes, right? Like
Yeah,
you got people who can really like be
Make a
or you
move.
got people lifting hundreds of pounds, but then you have people who are like for women especially, I'm like, they just had kids, they got a couple kids,
They're the rock
or
stars.
you just got hurt and you're coming back. I know people who have like pretty big fitness goals to hit, right?
Yeah.
And that everyone can like come in and feel comfortable and start at different levels.
Yeah.
And you know, some people like me, I can go run 10 miles, but try and tell me to lift, you know, do like 30 push-ups
Yeah.
and like lift like that was like Tuesdays were always my least favorite. I'm like, this is the hardest day. People would be like, no problem, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
It's tough
whoa,
for you,
this
though.
is a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that inspires me too is seeing like all the diversity of people, and that
Yeah.
everyone's like in it,
Yeah.
and that you're well supported. Like you can access it.
Yeah.
You know.
It's hard to put in words, to be honest.
Yeah.
The culture here, when you talk about the 20 or 23 people that comes into the class, everybody's here for different reasons. You know, from gaining muscle to losing fat to doctor reports, as I mentioned earlier, to trying to just get away from the husband or wife. You know what I mean? Everybody's there for different reasons. Because I don't want to be selfish of this whole segment. I just keep wanting to ask you questions.
No, and like mental
But
health, you know what I mean? Some
yeah,
people need
everything.
a spot. Like I just need a few
Yeah.
people to smile at after my long day. You know what I
Straight
mean?
up.
Like I had 13 people cuss me out today,
Straight
and
up.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna need
Straight up.
a couple people to like work together with, and you know.
I need it. I'm actually, for today, personally, I have to work out by myself, and I'm not looking forward to it. I really feel like, you know, I need a group of people to work with. But Liz, I want to give you the floor. All right, this is the
okay.
time where Liz get to ask. Maybe you guys questions. Maybe she want to ask Jared or myself or both. But if there's anything that you can think of, what would you ask? And hopefully, I can give you or Jared can give you an answer.
Let me try a couple. Can I ask questions to both of y'all?
Yep.
I guess the first one
That happens often.
y'all can take. What is something? Okay. Well, what is like a favorite part of being a trainer?
Jay, you going first or me? I've never had that question.
Favorite part of being a trainer?
Really?
I've never had that
That feels
question.
like
That seems like something I should be asked at a career day.
Every day.
I don't think I've ever. All
I'm a
right.
little yeah.
Yeah,
maybe.
no, that's awesome. I've never been able to express that. What you got, Jay? You want to go first?
Sure. You said, what do I like as a trainer?
Like, what's your favorite part? Like, I feel like I've seen some people post like, I love what I get to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
man.
sometimes I'm like, I like working out too. Like, I think about it, but then sometimes when I look at it, I'm like, ooh, but you're not always working out yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, what keeps you in it? Like,
I
what
know.
are the pieces? Because I know in my job, there's things that I love and there's things that I don't love
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much.
Mm.
But like, what's one of the loves? You
I
know?
like it.
Man. It's hard. It's like,
It's hard.
when you love everything about what you do, it's hard to focus
Yeah.
on one
You
thing.
don't gotta pick one.
Yeah,
I hear
it's
you.
hard to focus on one thing. So without focusing on one thing, and just bringing everything, like obviously the people. Like, first of all, you have to be a people person.
He
I
stole
know.
mine.
I know a lot of people that are like, oh, I hate people. I want to stay in my house. This is probably not the job for you, and that's okay. But for me,
Yeah.
as a trainer, I love people. I love the different conversations, I have with everybody that I get to work with. I love getting to know people. I love getting to know what they do.
Yeah.
Being a trainer, being an entrepreneur, it's like every single person you connect with somehow can connect with you. Like whatever it is they do in life, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
how do you do that?
Yeah.
And like we literally, build/network with every single person that we meet. So I love that. I love being able to do that every single day. I love being able to I'm gonna say this, but some people don't like it. I love being able to get people out of their comfort zone.
That's a good one.
The reason I say that people aren't going to like it is because the getting there is probably one of the most difficult things in the world. But once they're there, it's also one of the most rewarding things in the world.
Oh, 100%.
So that's one of my favorite things as a trainer, because you have to get through the getting cussed at. You have to get through the you're a horrible person. You have to get through all of that. Ain't that right, Mama E?
Shout out to our production.
You gotta get through the tears. You gotta get through all of that. But once they get through it, and you guys are on that other side, like that's just, it's like a aha, like, oh man. So that is definitely one of my favorite rewards of being a trainer.
Yeah.
That's awesome. He stole my answer, by the way. People, empowerment. But to give you a little different perspective, just having a sports background and being a part of sports all my life, I love winning.
Yeah.
I love, I'm not going to vent being a Texans fan at this moment, but I love the Michael Jordans and the LeBrons and the Bradys because they winners, man.
Yeah.
I love seeing that. And being a trainer, I get to be a part of seeing people win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Tom Brady was one of the last quarterbacks in his draft class. And I could not imagine being his father, his brother, or a coach or a mentor, and to see him win the way he's winning.
Yeah.
And I have that same approach about each individual that I get to train. They come in one way, and they may not have been the highest pick to succeed in what they desire, but I get the opportunity to be that person to help them win. And when I see them win, it's nothing like seeing someone lose weight or put on the muscle or get into the wedding dress or go to the trip they've been wanting to go to or get off high blood pressure medicine or beat depression or whatever their backs against the wall against. When I see people win and I'm in their corner, it's nothing like it. So I would go that route.
I love that. Just from a our perspective, honestly, I count everything as a win.
Straight up.
I had a 5:30 a.m. boot camp. Everybody that got up this morning on a Monday after a Sunday, that's win number one.
Yeah, straight up.
Win number two. Win number three. Every single breath. Like, you're not guaranteed that breath. No. That's a win.
That's a win.
That's a win. So for us to be in a position, like, I love that. For us to be in a position where we're able to.
Sorry, that's my telephone.
Oh, you're fine. For us to be in, continuously see people win, walking in that door, deciding to come work out, that's a win. Hitting that first rep, that's a win. Like, for us to just be in a position to consistently see wins, I think, like, I know you feed off that energy. I feed off that energy. As trainers, I think it's just, I like that you hit on that. It's just pretty dope.
I think there's something important about being okay, being uncomfortable, too, like you said. So I think that's kind of cool. Like, you have to be able to deal with that. But then seeing people learn to deal with it is good, I think, because that's where a lot of growth comes, right?
I like it.
That was my strength and conditioning coach. That was his thing. You got to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Shut up. Right.
But then I got it. I got it. I was mad at first, but
makes sense. Good question, Lee.
That's what it's. I heard you like Last Chance U.
Oh, I love
That's
it.
one of my favorite. I like those sports. Like, you know what I mean?
Did you watch
watch
the last one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love it.
The season 2 is my favorite, I think.
He said something that was so profound to me. Dang, it's going to just take us out of Liz's question time.
No,
but
sorry.
He said something to the key of one of the athletes that was very talented.
Yeah.
And he came from a very, let's say, tough background.
Yeah.
And it was no guidance there. It was no discipline there. It was anything when it comes to a system.
Yeah.
As I had the luxury of growing up with, he didn't have. So as a player, he got in the game, the first couple of games in practice, and he would really stand out because the coach haven't got to that part of the program where he was able to put systems in.
Yeah.
But as soon as he put systems in, the kid would just shut down, and he wasn't as talented. And I love the aspect of the mindset of the coach versus saying, oh, he's just not going to work with us. He knew what he went through. Yeah. And he was like, you know what, we're going to get him there. And it's bigger than basketball at that moment, right? So for him to be that type of coach that, like, empowers me to be like when – Susie comes in, it's bigger than her saying she want to lose 10 pounds. She may be dealing with depression or she may be dealing with losing a loved one. And, again, just like that coach, when that kid gets that playing time on the court or eventually get that scholarship, that's him winning.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing for me. So I do love that documentary.
Yeah, me too.
I do love it.
Do I have time for another one?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Go
okay.
for it. It's the Mean Green Show.
I feel like, because y'all said you got to be people person, so I feel like you got to be on when you're training, right, as coaches and stuff. But I feel like I bet there's a lot of times a lot of stress or like challenging pieces to your job too that you probably have to like low key cover sometimes. You know what I mean? Like your friends know, but like the average gym goer doesn't, right?
Absolutely.
What are, if you can share, like what's some of the hardest or the hard pieces of your job that people might not be aware of, but might sometimes add context? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of things, but like there's for sure a lot of behind the scenes work that y'all do. You know what I mean? Like the programming,
Absolutely.
like planning stuff out, like how do you put it on, you know?
You first or me?
I mean, I can go. It's fine. I would say, I think the stressful thing, I guess you could say, is growth. It's growth. As far as program and all of that kind of stuff, that's when you get into training, you know that's what you're gonna do. Right? You know that is I'm going to program workouts. I'm going to work with people. Like that's the expected stuff. So the unexpected stuff is the amount of work you're going to have to do to grow, right? The amount of work you're going to have to put into marketing, the amount of work you're going to have to do in XYZ. So I think the finding a healthy balance of not overworking yourself, but working yourself to where you're obviously still yourself healthy enough to continue going. I think that's the struggle that people don't really see.
Yeah.
Because if you see us everywhere, you have to understand that there's that kind of give and take as far as where we're able to give all of our energy and, you know, kind of where we're able to shuffle it off. So that's obviously not a battle that we're just up here like, oh, man, I'm so tired, y'all. Like, no, this is part of our job. We love it. Like, you're going to see us at our best here because we're going to give it 100%. And then we got to give our 100%, you know,
absolutely
everywhere else. And at times, like I said, it can be stressful, but you're not going to see it here because this is part of, you know, that's part of our 100%.
I love it. For me, you know what?
The Mean Green Show.
It's the Mean Green.
There we go.
I tell people I live by something. It's a quote that I like. I don't know who created it, whether it's me or not, I don't know. But it's don't stress what you can't control. Right? But if you look at my hair without my hat, I definitely got some gray hairs. So either that's wisdom or stress, right? So I can't sit here on this mic and not be transparent. There are moments that I do have stress, and typically it comes down to moments that I can't control, and that's very difficult for me as a person. With that as a coach specifically, the programming and working out and effort, that's easy to me. Like, I'm going to give effort. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to have the discipline. That's the easy part. The things that I can't control at the gym, you know, is tough, right? It's the unexpected moments that you can't control. And I think one that I point out specifically, because it's the Mean Green Show, it is what it is that I can't control people's effort. I can't want it more than people. And I use trainers as an example. I can't control Jared's effort. I can't tell Jared to get to class 15 minutes prior than 5 minutes. I can't control Jared using this type of energy when he's on the mic and coaching versus this type of energy on the mic, you know? So, like, that to me is stressful because I want it so bad for people.
Yeah.
I want fitness enthusiasts to make this as a living and really execute and set the bar really high versus getting the minimum. When people come into the door, I want Liz to break glass ceilings, not second guess herself every moment of every day. But I can't control that for members. I can't control that for trainers. And to me, sometimes that becomes stressful. But I'm learning to woosah a little bit more.
Yeah.
And
me too.
And just trust that it'll work out. So, great question.
That's good.
Great question.
Absolutely.
I got one more.
Yeah.
So one thing I think about more as like time goes on is like fitness through the ages, right? And like I think more and more like I want to be fit for life, right? So I don't know what y'all's perspective on that, right? Because what I'm learning is like what I could do at 24. Like I used to run, you know what I mean, like 5 miles a day, and now sometimes my knees like nah. So like I think you gave me that account, like Marcus Fit. Like, there's different people, right, who talk about fitness at different life stages. But like, what do you think? Like, should people just start taking it easy when you hit a certain age, or do you adjust? Like, I think that's the kind of thing I'm starting to learn.
I love it.
Like, I'll even talk to D Craig all the time. They're like, "You great? I used to do this like 3 days." You know what I mean? And even like sometimes you learn like my body doesn't need all that, or.
I love it.
I love it. Like, what's y'all's perspective?
You or
fitness
me?
over the ages,
Pointing me? Because I'm older? Is that why?
Yeah, bro.
No, and that's what, I tried no kind of specifics,
No, great question.
I'll give you, I'm in my 30s now.
We've talked about it, I think, a little bit before.
Yeah.
This one's intriguing because there's an avatar for Mean Green. And when I say avatar, there's a certain person that comes to Mean Green. You don't see a lot of people that want to come and get on a treadmill for 45 minutes and watch TV and work out. That's not ours. Typical person, our avatar. So our avatar is that high effective person that likes to come in within 45 to 55 minutes, get a great workout, mix it up. They have life. They want to go hang with friends. They busy in their career. That's our typical avatar. The thing that I'm noticing as a business owner of this brand, as I get older, my personal goals might change. But our avatar is that person, right? So, for example, I hurt my back 8-9 years ago, and until I started getting my PT help, I really started getting better. But I couldn't do all the workouts at times because of what I was dealing with. But I could not make workouts based upon what Chris needed. I had to make workouts based upon the avatar of Mean Green. So now, as I'm noticing that, I think fitness in itself will always get smarter, right? So prior to the podcast, remember I said back in the day, we just put the workout, not just us, but everybody.
Yeah.
We'll put the hardest workout they can make that day, and that was the workout.
Yeah,
now
yeah.
it's more like modules and blocks and body groups or whatever. So as I get very long-winded, I'm going to bring it all to the end.
No, yeah.
She's a nerd like me, guys. The cool thing that I see fitness getting, and I'm excited about, no matter what the age is, I think people are now learning that the body, the anatomy of it, it doesn't take so much beating up of the body to get results. And at the end of the day, if I can beat my body up and get results, or not beat my body up and get results, I'm probably going to choose not beat my body and get results. And I see fitness getting more simple. I see especially fitness equipment. If you look at the barbells that we used to use, they're big old 7-foot barbells, and then we're putting 5 pounds on each side. That just doesn't make sense, right? Like now, sometimes if I see a barbell and I'm not, dang, I'm there. If I see somebody doing, dang, I'm there. I can't clean it up, but it just looks weird to me now when I look at IGs and people got the big barbell and they have 5 pounds and doing power cleans. I'm like, why not just get a smaller barbell, especially for a gym owner?
Where do you buy them?
Titan.
Oh, okay.
Where I get them. Fitness Depot. You can get 5-foot barbells versus 7, which means your classes can get more people. Anywho, I see a fitness equipment getting a lot smaller, and then I think the groups. To answer the part B of your question, I don't think intensity ever needs to be turned down if you listen to your body. Because the intensity the effort that you put out based upon what your body can do is your max effort. My max effort at a mile is a lot different than I was when I was 28 and then 18.
Okay.
But the effort of how hard you push your heart to work is 96%. Whether it's if 96% gives me an 8-minute mile at the age of 38, and at the age of 28 I was able to get a 6-minute mile, but both of us at 96 max effort. That's the same effort. So I don't think effort and volume has to be turned down as long as you listen to your body. Now saying, hey, I have to always get a 6-minute mile every 10 years I get older, I think that's insane.
Yeah.
I think saying I have to be able to deadlift 405 pounds, 10 reps unbroken for the rest of my life is insane.
Yeah.
But to be able to do a certain amount of reps, I don't think that needed to change. Very long-winded answer.
No, but
I'm
I like
sorry.
it.
Okay.
No,
cool.
that's real.
Sorry, guys. Yeah. Okay. Jared, my bad. It took 10 minutes.
Oh, nah, you good. You hit on what I was talking about, because I was actually talking to, it was our podcast we did in the garage. Milton, he was helping us out. I remember saying that I felt like, personally, I had to understand that I'm, in a different, I'm not going to say a different body. I'm still only 27.
Yeah.
But I am.
Yeah.
All right. So doing burpees and stuff like that I was able to do. I was great shape 22, 23 years old. Like I played professional football. I was, when we were doing conditioning drills, first one done. I was, collegiately. So shape-wise, like I was in great shape. I didn't necessarily lose that, but with my knee, I had to understand I had to slow it down a bit. So I like how you said fitness gets smarter. That's what I had to do. I don't necessarily have to be what I was. Obviously, I'm not training to be a professional athlete anymore.
Yeah.
So boom, that changes. And then I had to understand, okay,
Yeah.
you're not gonna be able to do 405-pound squats. So
Yeah.
boom, that changes. But how do I still get the same results? So as you evolve through fitness, I think whatever it is that we're shooting for with our bodies, I think it can remain the same. One thing, like you said, your skin might not stay this tight all the way through, and you got to understand that with your amount of weight you're doing, with the amount of
absolutely,
the time you're running, whatever. It's probably not gonna stay the same. With age, obviously things adapt, but whatever your goals are, I think, like body wise, all of that kind of stuff, I think you make tweaks to adapt to it.
Yeah.
Right. So I think Mean Green's great.
Yeah.
Mean Green might not be great at 60.
Yeah.
But working out, training is great at 60.
Absolutely.
So it's just kind of adapting to what you need.
Absolutely. And different stages too, right? If you see, I'm trying to think of somebody that, I don't want to use nobody in the gym, but if you see somebody that's been training, say a pro athlete, J.J. Watt, he's retiring. He's bad. He's still young. Who's old? Jordan. Michael Jordan. If Michael Jordan came to our gym at 55, he's going to be okay. Yeah. Because his body's been conditioned for decades to produce a certain amount of effort. And plus, you got to understand mobility is such a huge thing. If the body's made to be here, right? The alignment, right? But if you're here naturally now because you haven't stretched in 40 years, you can't expect to go out and do a really intense workout because it's not the mentality. It's your body is not in the position where it can move effectively with that amount of force yet. You can work on it. But if Michael Jordan comes in and he's been working out for 40, 50 years and he has the mobility, then he's going to be okay. Yeah. So, again, you got to listen to your body. You got to put yourself in a position to win. But specifically with Mean Green, the workouts will be created based upon what we put out now. Even 20 years from now, if God gives us the opportunity, because this is still our avatar. Yeah. Now, Chris can be, Chris can be 58, right? But I'm still going to be programming workouts for this avatar, if that makes sense. Yep. And I think that's more of a business perspective because our goal is not to train the people that looks like Chris and moves like Chris. Our goal is to empower the avatar that we have right now. And I think that's just knowing who you are and what you want to accomplish in life. So that's a really good question, though.
Absolutely.
Liz is a beast.
I don't know. That was
solid. She like, thanks.
I mean, this is what I think about all the time. You know what I mean?
I like this giving the guest the floor thing at the end. They be coming with these questions, man.
I'm going to write this down. I'm going to bring this back and do another episode on it. So
future guest.
I love it. I love it. What else? You got anything else you can think of?
I mean,
what's something you would ask you like, ooh, I wouldn't really ask that. You can really ask on the Mean Green.
You can really ask the dirty.
Because somebody else might be thinking what you're thinking.
Give us the good.
Give us the good.
I mean, when people ever look pissed in class, like I may have, or like they don't come back or something, how do y'all deal with that kind of thing?
Good question. You or me?
You know what I mean? Because like I guess the reality is you're not gonna like win everyone.
Yeah. Short answer: Mean Green's not for everybody, and I'm okay with that. It's several people that I've trained that I recommend to go to somebody else's program because it wasn't a good we wasn't a good fit for them, and ultimately that's our culture. The reason why it's as empowering as it is because we're a good fit for them and they're a good fit for us, and it has to be a healthy relationship. So there has been time where people would train me. I had a lady, shout out to Mama. I'm not gonna say her name, but she punched me.
Oh, I didn't expect that one.
She punched me.
Like hard?
We were in the back. It was actually a solid little punch. Oh. We were doing sprints, and I mess with people when they run.
Yeah.
Like, come on, whatever.
Oh, there's that one time I was pissed at you.
See, it happens. Yeah. It happens. So she kind of looked at me. She kept looking at me, and her daughter trained here too. And she was looking at me, and she ran by me and boom, hit me right in the chest. And her mom, I almost said her daughter's name, and she's like, "Mama," and I was like, "All right." But the more of the story, she trained with us for a while. I think a couple more months after that. But she ended up doing something, I think, a little bit more. Again, I said her mother, so you take that. Yeah. And I think she needed something not as intense every time she show up into the gym. So it wasn't a good fit for her. But, yes, there has been times where people be like, no, this I ain't doing this, and they go the other way. And it's okay.
That's wisdom. Yeah.
That's okay.
I agree with them on that. I just feel like, again, it's not for everybody. I don't think there's a reason there's 19 quadrillion trainers everywhere, and that's because I think somebody's for everybody. So I don't think I'm for everybody. So definitely don't take it personal. Programming wise, environment wise, some people don't like to be around and high five and say family and culture. Some people don't like it. So it is what it is. I don't get upset by it. But that's what we do, and that's what like we're proud of. We're proud of that. I'm not gonna back down from having a good culture, having everybody love being around each other, high five and saying great job, saying who we got this to each other. Like we don't want to back down from that because that's who we are. So if that doesn't fit you, good luck finding what does, and I know you will. So.
I say it's been very few times, Jay and Liz, that someone looked at me with the angry face because of the workout. I've had probably more people, very selected, have said, hey, I like the old programming. I like the old Mean Green. Yeah. So, a random workout, 100 thrusters, 100 deadlifts, 100 push press, 100, right? And get as far as you can in the workout. Like, to me, doing that 12, 13 years ago, that's horrible. That's just not good programming. You don't put the person in a position to recover. It's not good. And I've had people that say, man, I want to do that old me. I want to go back to 2010 Chris. And I'm like, no, 2010 Chris is not as educated or as experienced. Part of the reason why I think a lot of people respect us and what we do is because Jared's been through some knee injuries. Chris has been through some back injuries, some shoulder injuries. So Liz can say, hey, my shoulder's bothering me, and I can show her some range of motion movements, or say, hey, let me show you the physical therapist that I'm attending because we've been through it. And I think maturity helps the other person not go through what they've been through. Yeah. And I think for me specifically, when it comes to what we produce, if someone's not okay with the maturity of growth, then I'm okay with them not liking what we put to the table. Absolutely. At the end of the day, we want to put people in a position to win. And but again, personal training is probably the most effective training that you can get, period, because it's customized based upon you. Yeah. But when you join a group training style class, we can't customize every workout for that individual, right? And as Forrest would say, that's all I'm going to say about that.
I like it, though. One thing that's dope, because group training hasn't always been, like, my thing.
Yeah, I didn't per se always see myself doing it.
Honestly, I didn't get into group training / know it was a thing until Mean Green. Until I saw Mean Green and saw what they did.
I didn't know that.
I had no idea.
I didn't know that.
Because personal training was always not box gym, global gyms for me, like Lifetime.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's the only training that I knew. So whenever I got to, I remember I met Milton on the north side. That was my first time like seeing classes. So I didn't know what that was. So for me, even when I got into it, because my background was global, it was still personal training for me. So I was trying to personal train everybody in a group setting. So, going person to person. And honestly, that's still my style. When I see people doing stuff, like I still use that as my style. So when you obviously, you said when we program workouts, it's not for individuals. But I have noticed, in doing those workouts, you can individualize it.
Absolutely.
By just going, like I said, push-ups. Push-ups is one of my things. I know if I'm putting push-ups in a workout, obviously I program specifically for a boot camp. I literally think of people in my head as I'm programming this workout, like they need to work on this. So I'm gonna help them when they get to this. And then as we're going, like, they need to do this better. So, and this wall sit, that's gonna help so and so with. So like there's certain things as I put them in throughout the week. I do think of specific people. Obviously, when you get to a gym of 240, 300 people, it's a little bit tougher, especially if you're not in every single class. But even then, like we talked about earlier, slowing down the tempo of workouts. I think coaches, the better coaches get to know the people that they're training, the more individualized it can be. So if I'm in a class for you and I know you need to do pull-ups and we're doing something with lats, I know, like, hey, Liz, this is really going to help you get those pull-ups right, this workout that we're doing. So this is not, obviously it's not an individualized personal training program, but I know what your goal is. So, hey, like today we're doing whatever. Let's kind of slow it down on the eccentric portion to help you get those pull-ups better. Yeah. So that wasn't in a workout, but hey, absolutely, like, let's kind of do it so they can get you there. So
I think that's what make individuals like Jared elite, to be honest. So now I get to brag on our trainers.
Oh Lord,
it's cool because you put a product on the floor for them to execute, but the individual has to be the person that control the class and when I say control, there's 20 people on the floor, and Jared's over there doing push-ups, but he's doing little mini-me push-ups. But Jared wants the chest. So that's when Jared says, hey, man, you got to be able to control your body weight down and fully extend up to get that motion. For him to have the background of personal training, it's easy. Make it quick, Chris. Make it quick. It's easy for Jared to say, hey, do an overhead squat assessment, and then see the knees caving in. And then Jared can say, hey, based upon his background, oh, this is over tight, this is not loose. You need to do this when you're not in the gym. And then it makes the member better, but it makes him more respected and more trusted. So the coach can't just be, hey, this is the workout, and then move out the floor, right? It has to be someone that has to execute mass amount of people. So again, I said it's not programmed for personal training, for group training, but the guy or the girl does have to have the ability to execute personally with each person in the class. So I liked how you said that. I liked how you said that. Anything else, Liz? This has been great.
I know, it's been amazing.
Appreciate y'all.
This has been great.
Thank you, Mama E. She back there struggling, y'all. I'm gonna call out.
Mama E, shout out to the production team in the back.
She got up at 5:30 to come do boot camp this morning. Yep.
She did her thing.
She was late, but she was there.
That's a morning workout. Great. You gotta go to bed.
Gotta go to bed. Gotta go to bed. Well, if you don't have nothing, we're going to get you out of here.
No. I mean, I can always come, but let me come back. I'm going to ask y'all.
Yeah. Well, I leave with 2 questions.
Okay.
Question number 1, can't say Wendy's name because she said your name.
There we go.
Oh, that's not fair.
It's not fair? Because we already know the answer. I read the Instagram post on the Beast Mode game where she was like, hey, partner, they already texting it. I seen it. All right. But besides Wendy, who's someone... if it's okay for me to say this, who's the gym crush guy or girl where you're like, man, I like working out next to them, or they inspire me? Could you say a name or 2? I know it's a lot, but could you say 1 or 2?
Yeah, because it depends on when I go to the gym.
Yeah, because you go 9 sometimes.
Yeah, just fit it with my schedule.
You can name a few.
Yeah, I mean, I had fun working out with Margaret the other day. I did it with Wendy.
I'm not going to try to pronounce that last name again. I was going to try it, then I was like, no.
I like everyone. I mean, I think I like when I, learn from people or when we be tracking.
Yeah.
I mean, I've enjoyed working out with Faye and with even Malcolm, your boy that play football. He taught me some stuff with the barbell, too. When I come at 9 before. I mean, even my group today, I hate, picking one. You know what I mean? Wendy and I did float. I mean, and I'm blanking on everyone's name.
Yeah, that's typically how it goes.
Sorry.
But
I should have prepared. See, because I was going to say Wendy.
Wendy's my go-to. That's my girl.
Because, I mean, Raven's great. I've worked out.
Raven's dope.
Shayla, Paulette. I mean, I like working out with everyone. I learn.
That's dope.
We got to get her on the podcast. My second question was...
got plenty of great gentlemen,
the fellas here really... The fellas.
Just women tend to dominate. That's what I'm saying.
You know what, fellas? Y'all heard it. You got to step it up.
No, not always, but yeah,
That's fair.
Split training has been something we just rolled out. What has been your experience as we finish up this podcast with the first week of split training?
I think I'm still going to give it time. But so far, I think maybe one of my favorite pieces is before, you know how Tuesdays was push and pull and mostly arms and stuff. I kind of like that we're hitting more because I feel like I'm getting the whole body. So I'm liking the flow so far because I feel like I'm getting a bit of weight, some conditioning, and mobility. So it feels like I'm hitting all the things that I'd want to check. Yeah. And what I realize sometimes I'm trying to get here a little early or stay a little late because I need to stretch more and work on mobility, but when I get home or something, there's just other things. So I think it's real cool when it's all built in. That's how it helps me, the intentionality, the next level. The other day we were working out together or in class, and you even told me just low key, so you didn't even embarrass me, but just fix your knee. But that's the kind of stuff I really appreciate. You know what I mean? Because it's people really are for you because they're looking out. Someone even helped me put protein in my shake the other day because I looked like a hot mess.
That's love.
That's you just feel a lot of love here.
I had Erica bought me this thing. I actually used it this morning. Jesse.
Yeah.
We got to get him on the phone. So I told you what he said, right? So it's time.
Yeah.
Jesse, it's time. We're coming for you, man.
Yes, sir.
Well, look, I want to be respectful to your time.
Okay.
I appreciate you, man. This was awesome to get insight from a winner. You are a winner. we were able to celebrate her the other day in class.
Yeah.
We brought her banner to class, and everybody, she was like, no, damn it.
Yeah.
Okay, do some more. Let me hear some more. But, you know, we are extremely proud of you, Liz. You came in, you're a class act, and you're if I was able to say I want to clone somebody, you're one of the people I would want to clone.
Oh, wow.
You're a joy to be around. Not just within the workout, but outside the workout, you know,
Shoot.
from social events and just being a great person. So I'm looking forward to growing with you and being a vessel that can encourage you and empower
Yeah,
you.
me too. I really appreciate it. This place has been great for me this year. It's
Awesome.
been one of the highlights.
Thank
so I
Love
plan
it,
to,
love it,
to
love it.
stay here.
That
So
means
thanks
a
for
lot.
having me.
That means a
Thank
lot.
you.
That means a lot. All right, Jay, you take us out with an outro,
What an outro?
like a freestyle flow or something.
Oh
Mm.
man,
I
ain't
wish
got
I
none
was
of
a
that.
rapper, but I'm
Make a
not.
beat.
What'd you say?
8 bars.
8 bars. Welcome to the Mean Green Show. All right, y'all.
Fingers of death.
I love it. I love it. All right, guys. Well, we're going to sign out. Hey, next week we're going to have another person on, which is freaking fantastic. But the only way you're going to know is by you logging in. Make sure you give my girl Liz some love
I
if
know?
you see her at the gym. We can tell her that she's been on.
Just know we're traveling.
Yeah, we'll be traveling. It won't be at
Oh, okay.
this gym. That's all we can say.